is just fantastic. Captain's Log, Subdate 211223.7. On the 23rd day of Moistmas, my whole crew gave to me a studded belt with half the studs missing, a bent crowbar, and a tricorder, which sounds fantastic, but it has Windows Vista as an operating system on it. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with some good news. Last week we spoke about a marmoset that had been mistreated by their respective owner, fed a poor diet, flushed down a toilet. After the hellish 5 months that this particular marmoset had been put through, they have actually found a new life. With the help of the RSPCA in Wales, Monkey World in Dorset rescued the abused pet, with her being rehabilitating ever since. The best part about this story is that Millie, which is the name of the marmoset, has actually found love with a fellow marmoset called Moon. She is no longer issuing alarm calls every time someone walks past her enclosure, and she is now far more calm, happy, content than she was with Vicky Holland, who I maintain should be flushed down a toilet as punishment. And as she is a happier marmoset, I can show you a picture of her now. That is a very happy looking marmoset. May she live a long happy life in the specialist housing at the sanctuary. So to our first subject, we go to a trending subject of sorts. It appeared on Twitter in the What's Happening area, where a group of friends won £4 million on a scratch card. But as it didn't end well, we get to poke some fun at this one, because £4 million is a lot to win, it's a lot to lose as well. Mark Goodrum and John Watson from Bolton travelled to London on April 22nd, 2019 to beg, as they believed there was money to be made in London. There are many people who are career beggars, living better lives than those who work. It's an honest living. When they were in the capital, they bought a scratch card from a Waitrose store in Clapham. On the scratch card, they won £4 million. When they took this to, the lottery offices or Camelot got a little suspicious of it because Mark Goodrum revealed he didn't have a bank account. But because they knew how the scratch card had been purchased, they started an investigation because it was paid for with a bank card, which meant somebody had a bank account. So the operator had asked for bank details, they couldn't transfer the money. The very next day, an investigator from Camelot rang Goodrum to ask about the card used to make the purchase, with him admitting it belonged to a friend named John who owed him money, but could not confirm the man's surname or where he lived, even though surely the surname would have been on the card. Later on, they actually hired a celebrity lawyer called Henry Hendron to try and get Camelot to release the money, which was held pending the outcome of the investigation. The investigation, though, was passed to the police, who found it had been bought fraudulently, with the card belonging to a man named Joshua Adiman. Both men were on license at the time of the arrest, and while on bail, Mark Goodrum went on to commit 2 more crimes because he failed to show up at court, so he was remanded into custody. As a consequence of this, both men were put in prison for fraud. I wonder if the money that was won was given to the man who owned the card. The sentence, by the way, was 18 months apiece. Congratulations. Although John Goodrum got an extra month for breaching his bail. So next we're going to discuss something festive. I know it's Merry Meggy Moistmas and we should be discussing the festive season with another subject that was on the What's Happening tab of a family left truly devastated, disappointed even after opening doors to a £10 Cadbury Advent calendar. Prior to my sister acquiring a Back to the Future Playmobil one for me, I was looking at a £10 Lint one, and as that same sister rather stupidly already bought some but forgot they existed, I got one for free. Victory is mine. I literally opened the entire thing and just sat there eating all the chocolate. So what happened? A bewildered mum has slammed Cadbury's because Anna Devlin, the mother, took her 8-year-old daughter to choose a chocolate calendar, which was a Cadbury 3D box. But when the daughter opened the first window, the daughter discovered that the very first chocolate was barely the size of her toe. Look, it's not the size of the chocolate, it's the quality of the chocolate, alright? The main problem Anna took with this advent calendar was that the majority of the chocolate within it were the same size as the small variety bites that you can get in the bags that cost £1, along with the fact that for 3 consecutive days, the daughter received the exact same chocolate. The thing about this advent calendar is that the chocolate in them has always been bad, and now the big companies are starting to produce ones that aren't essentially plastic chocolate, i.e. actually making it with real chocolate. I know, shock horror, let's just say the kids have beat us now. Did you really think they would get full-size chocolate bars? Did you think they would actually get full-size anything really except from the final day, which is when they will get it? Let's not forget here, yes, of course, they're saving a lot of money. Cadbury's are making even a lot of money from this. But in reality, you're the one that stupidly paid for it. You expected far too much. You should always expect the worst, really. Or you should have done what my sister did with the Lindt ones, where the chocolates were minuscule, but damn, they tasted good. Or perhaps because even you've conceded your daughter's a little bit on the greedy side, you should have got her one of the ones I had as a kid. You know, the flat piece of cardboard with nothing behind it but a picture, because we lived in really exciting times. Failing that, for future reference, and even with the rubbish years that we have all had to endure, you could just make one yourself. Something my aunt used to do. She'd make this out of felt and all these little pockets that had sweets in. The kids couldn't see it until the day they put their hand in and got a crummy little Freddo bar, which, by the way, back in the 90s, of course, was godly. It was the gold standard, because it was 10p and hadn't gone up in price yet. So to move on from that, we're going to discuss something else completely different. Trending in the United Kingdom was NatWest. NatWest is a bank. I think it's 54% owned by the UK government, so this should be good. The reason they were trending is because they were fined £265 million. What was the crime? Failure to prevent money laundering of nearly £400 million. And there's a reason for this, which makes it absolutely delicious. But we do need to give suitable context. A gold trading business suspected of money laundering deposited £700,000 in cash into one NatWest branch in black bin bags. A criminal gang deposited sums of cash across 50 branches. Under UK money laundering regulations, NatWest, which is a part of the Royal Bank of Scotland, pled guilty to 3 offences. The bank's chief, Alison Rose, said that we take this responsibility to prevent and detect financial crimes seriously, and that we regret blah 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 blah. Let's just add more people to the list of things that were fraudulently done. Bradford Jewellers Fowler Oldfield's predicted annual turnover when taken on as a client by NatWest was £15 million, but over 5 years it deposited £365 million, which included £264 million in cash, which, let's face it, is a rapid escalation in the amount of cash that was being deposited from 2013 to 2018. The part of this that really tickled me the most was that there was one rule designed to flag suspicious activity, but the bank decided to disable it because it created too many alerts, so the bank believed it should be deactivated, and that caused all these discrepancies to just go unnoticed. Congratulations! The fine would have been higher, by the way, had they not pled guilty to those 3 offences. They turned a blind eye to money laundering, and because of it, they received a fine just under 75% of most of the money they received. You absolute dipshits. So to our penultimate subject, we go to a really strange one. It was originally a screenshot I saw shared on Twitter and didn't actually believe it to be true, but it turns out, yes it is, and thankfully it is in fact from this month. So for this we turn to 90 Day Fiancé star, loosely, Stephanie Matto, who has developed a lucrative side business. This lucrative business caters to her 260,000 followers, whom she then charges $1,000 for a jar of this exquisite nectar. She even recently ran a promotion for 50% off. And what is this gift that, when on offer, costs a mere $500, you ask? Flatulence. She's taken Belle Delphine's bathwater and said, I can do one better. Some sell solids, Belle sells liquids, I sell gases. I feel like we've missed a few stages here, i.e. freezing, melting, vaporization, condensation, sublimation. It's the whole thing, and I'm sure there'll be a market catered to each of those given time. To ensure she can cater to her followers, Stephanie has had to alter her diet to help her pass the gas to keep up with the demand of her fart in a jar hustle. being quoted as saying, "I usually follow a pretty strict diet, but I do allow myself 1 to 2 cheat days every single week, and those are the days that I will indulge in specific types of foods that I know will make me more gassy. I also like to combine my product with something that smells like me, so I spritz one of my favorite perfumes into each jar to give customers the most immersive experience. I put a small fabric petal or flower into each jar. It is aesthetically pleasing and also allows the scent to attach to it and last longer. I assume with the cork on top. We're aging these like a fine bottle of scotch. Also, if this is a part of your job, how are they cheat days? I assume, by the way, your cheat meals are the following: beans, the magical fruit." So far, Stephanie has dispatched 97 orders and in fact struggles to keep up with demands due to the constant influx of orders. Have you considered outsourcing? So to the final subject we go to, yes, Juicy Smallbits. We have covered him so many times this month because he has had a really rotten run. If you do require additional context, no, I'm not going to play clips, but I will link both videos that I made this month down below in the pinned comment. Since he was found guilty and intends to appeal, the city of Chicago itself have decided to act on a lawsuit they've been waiting to use, push forward with even, on Juicy Smallbits. Because originally when this all went wrong and he was somehow let off back, a few years ago, before this then got turned around by a new person, the city had charged him, or billed him, for $130,106.15 to cover the overtime tab racked up by dozens of officers tasked with investigating Smallbits' claims. The fake ones. Well, because of the conviction, the city of Chicago have confirmed that they will in fact sue Juicy Smallbits for wasting $130,000 into a police investigation which was in fact based on a fake hate attack. Had he paid that originally, chances are this never would have gone to trial in the first place. But Juicy Smallbits was adamant of his innocence and has been ever since. There is also another lawsuit taking place concerning the Ostendero brothers who helped stage this attack at the request of the orchestrator Juicy Smallbits, because they are suing Juicy Smallbits' attorneys after the initial set of charges were dropped because they claim that the case damaged their reputations and careers. Does Juicy Smallbits even have the money to cover all of this now? Because this is getting expensive. And he still maintains his innocence, and his career is effectively over, to the point even those who once worked with him on Empire are mocking him for it. Now, as we're done, I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch tonight, have a cracking day, and thank you all very much for listening.
Merry Moistmas, ew.